Welcome to the spring, autumn, no, not spring, autumn, April garden tour. Now, it's a gorgeous day, sunny, it got warm on me, but it was chilly this morning, thus the sweater. But without further ado, let's go. So, I'm not sure if he's alive or dead. He looks dead, but when I cut him, he was green. So I'm leaving him. We'll see what happens. But over here, the nanny berry is about to bloom. He is a little dieback, but he's gonna bloom. And that's an elderberry. I forgot to mention that. Over here, I didn't think he was gonna live, but the mulberry, these little berries on him, is doing good. This is the cedar tree from my uncle's property. He survived and is happy. However, the little sedum I had growing in this pot did die. Before I step further, my bearded iris and my little lilies. This isn't coming up so well. But the meadow sweet and his little pups, doing in one ear. The beautiful lilac. Can I back up far enough? And we'll come down here. The grasses that I moved are getting thicker, so they're definitely happy down here. Ow, and they're sharp. I think I just cut myself. The autumn joy's root. Apparently I left one. And then this is where I put my sweet Annie. And I don't see anything yet. So there's still a chance. Some things are still dormant. That may be one of them. So cross your fingers for me. Our little black walnut, and these guys. So I was told that my daffodils maybe didn't bloom because I had cut them down last year. No, the year before. I cut them down the year before. So the following year they won't bloom. And it's a possibility, I guess, or an old wives' tale. So last year I didn't. I just kind of folded them over, tied them up until they were completely done, then cleaned them up. But they're not blooming. Powdery little heads. So the other thing I found is possibly overcrowding. They're pretty thick. So I'm going to divide them when they're done. So beginning midsummer, we'll see. My little sedum. Another baby sedum. And we did some work over here. We cleaned out his root system so we'd have no mound to wash all the way into the road. But that means I had to move a yucca or 2 or 3. Oh, those little bunnies or squirrels. This guy here is was, maybe still might be, my blackberry something or other. I'm gonna have to baby him some more. Oh, that makes me so sad. Okay, I'll water him. And I have little irises out here. Squirrels. Yucca's super happy. Grass is filling in. If you're following me on Instagram, you'll know that I'm going to be taking my yuccas and making fiber out of them. As you can see, they're already starting to fiber up. But apparently I just take him green and pound them till I have fibers. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do there. Over here, every dog that walks past stops, sniffs, pees. I should have touched that because they pee on my bush. But he doesn't look like he did so hot this winter. All the dead. I have a lot of clean, fresh growth. So cross your fingers there too. This guy's super happy. Focusing here, focusing. There we go. I did cut him back a little, which I'm glad I did, because he'd have a lot of tall dead stuff. All my baby yuccas. My black-eyed Susans popping up with some weeds. 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 You know, lots of weeds. The maple tree's not doing so bad. Little branches. We did have an attack. You can see it here. Heartwood. It spirals all the way around and up and down. And he also has this on a lot of his leaves. So we'll see what I can do about that this year. Keep him alive, maybe not. Grape hyacinths are still in bloom, look at that. And then the calendula seeds are sprouting. Looks like some wild onions might be too. Fall cypresses are happy. I still like their yellow look. And this guy, my azalea. Oh. And they're gone. The peach tree still struggles. Still struggles. But has some happiness. Lots of not. I don't know how the blossoms to fruit are gonna work. This was a blossom. It was covered in them. Strawberries have been blooming for a whole month now. The Russian sage, coneflowers. I'm leaving my false dead nettle, or purple nettle, or whatever it's called. Mint spreading all the way over here. Shading out, but coexisting nicely with the strawberries. Garlic is still coexisting. Ant's hard at work. Look at that. There he goes. Maybe he'll eat the buggies that are causing the problems. I don't know why he's leaving a gap here and filling in over there. I kind of wanted him here, but yeah. I had to dig a trench. So any mint that passes this trench is getting ripped. Nothing over here. Because I have all of my lovely violets. Look at those lovely violets. And my lavender. Oh, if you could smell my lavender. Then I forget what I got, but this is from the neighbor across the street. And I moved my milkweed. Little baby calendulas are coming in. And then up here. So self-seeding makes me happy. Lazy gardening, just patiently wait for them to come up and take care of themselves. My bloody dock, which was probably put in the wrong spot. They get big, don't put them in a tiny spot. And my bee balm. And if you actually come in here, move the bee balm out of the way, you have violets. So this is well covered ground. My peony, this is the only one that did not bloom last year, so I'm crossing my fingers. This is my pink one. I'm hoping my pale pink peonies from the old farmhouse did not die. You can see the violets coming in here too. All these itty bitty green things. And then lemon balm is back. He got big. And more irises I tucked in there with some grasses I need to pull. Big ants working hard. And then the back. Now, before we go into the back, I'm going to take you around to the other side of the front. And we'll check out the north garden. So back up here in the north garden, we have I'm calling it the purple bush. It's technically like a dark mahogany. He's about to bloom. He's got tiny little flowers. Left the wild onions to do their thing. But, and this is empty. I don't know what to put here. Over here, I put my wild indigo. So the goal is when you're out here on the road, you'll have this giant bush of green with indigo flowers. But on the other side, from the house, you'll have this pretty dark foliaged plant with its pale pink flowers and this giant green behind it with its violet flowers. The irises are starting to divide themselves. The wild trees are growing themselves. I have no buckwheat sprouting itself in here this year. And then the buckeye tree is definitely growing. I think I'm gonna take it out of its cage now. It's big enough, it should be able to fend for itself. And she's leaning. I don't know why. But there you have that. Over here, I forget what a lot of these new ones are called. But this one's doing good, and you can see the little bloom heads on it. But, okay, no, those are seeds. Haha, I don't even know what I'm looking at. Little seeds from last year. So I don't, oh boy. This, oh, okay. So he's died back, but you can see some green growth. This is they're not peonies. They're like peonies, but they're not peonies. What are they called? Dahlias. This is the dahlia I planted last year, and he's coming back up. They're not supposed to come back up, but he's coming back up. I'm happy about this. The grasses, you can't tell, but if you look super close in there, are coming back. I have random bee balm I don't remember planting. The oxeye, however, I do remember planting, is coming up and spreading, so that's greatness. Our white yarrow has taken over, in a good way though. And then these little sedums, they'll have yellow blooms this year. Just missed the bush blooming. And all of the bearded iris will be blooming shortly. As well as the ditch lilies. Still have room to fill in here. And then over here, I'm super happy about my columbine. They are about to come up. My lily of the valley. I think that's what they're called. That's what I've been calling them. And then these guys. They make me so happy. Buckthorns are perking. So if you can envision what it's going to look like in a couple more years, the buckthorns will be like, let me back up a little, about 8 foot tall. And you'll have these, which won't get any taller, but they'll put up tall stalks of flowers with a bunch of green in the background. So I imagine it'll make it difficult to see the backyard. So the redbud and the sycamore are gorgeous. But before we get back there, I've got the tiny little lilies, the sedums, the chicken hens, and my dame's rocket. So, start off with the ditch lily from the farm. And then immediately into flowers. And chipmunk hunter. So vicious. Oh, so I planted some fun flowers here, which the soil's still very damp. It rained the other day. And this guy, look how pretty they are. Well, he doesn't look happy, but yeah. I don't know if the gladiolus is gonna come back up because it was a really hard winter. Something's eating him. Just noticed that. But there's always a chance he will still. Then those are those tall lily things. Then here, we redesigned. So we moved the deck over and the rain barrel there. So it'll attach and then come down and feed into that. And then my hose, a little hand washing hose. Yeah. And then we're gonna have a cool little wall here to make this private with our fancy little maple tree. I forget what he's called, but he grows almost like a buckthorn. And we have him angled away from the house intentionally because he's gonna get pretty big, and we don't want him hugging the patio. And then these guys, it's something firecracker. It said plant them shallow, so we planted them shallow. He was green all friggin' winter, and then he then he did that. So I'm not really sure what happened there. This is an ornery dog who keeps teasing the robin who lives in this bush right here. She's got 3 babies, and she keeps sniffing at them and getting swooped at by the male. Oh, now she's eating grass. Amidst Lucifer. Literally, she's got lucifers under her butt. These guys look a little dry. Sunburnt. They don't like a whole lot of sun. So they're a little sunburnt, but they're so pretty. They will get more shade here soon with the sycamore tree coming above us. Blue Elijah is doing really good now that I've moved him out of that pot into here. He's getting just enough sun that he's happy. And then this little guy with his salmon colored flowers with the backdrop of redbud. Yeah, that's nice. I, as you can tell, planted random irises everywhere. And these guys are the, yeah, you can tell I'm bad with names here. Wild ginger. I forget his name right now, but a native wild ginger here to North America and is in bloom. Look at that. Crazy looking little flower. I'm forgetting all of this base plantage. So Carolina Beauties, which are totally wild and I can't cultivate. My yarrow, the red yarrow though, not the white. And those pretty little flowers are coming up. I forget what they're called. That lovely little lilac bush is dead. I think it's safe to say she's dead. She's not happy. She has a few tufts. Yeah, but yeah. And then that one over there, which was the offshoot to the one that was here, doesn't look the happiest either. So what I'm gonna do here is plans. Yeah, plans. I'm gonna take the cutting of the healthy stuff and root it and put it somewhere else. So, and then the pretties, so much pretties. And see this guy over here who's getting more shade. It's the same plant as that one there that's getting sunburnt. But because we're underneath a tree, he's happier. Look at this tree. Grown from a seed. And it's huge. Oh, I just noticed he is not the happiest either. Little seed pods. He puts blackberries off. Yeah, they're there. Little blackberries. And I reseeded, here we go, a couple pups over here of them. Look at those odd Carolina Beauties. Well-earned name. Tomato seeds. Look, I don't even have to plant. They've handled the frosts and they're just out here in the ground, exposed. Doing their thing. Lots of plans here. I'll probably talk about those in another video, but I have my asparagus coming up. I was actually a little worried that none of this asparagus was gonna come up, but two of them absolutely have. These guys are about to bloom. They did not do that last year, so that's good. And then bee balm, a purple bee balm, which is a completely different growth habit than my wild bergamot bee balm. Gets confusing there. My mess, my absolute mess. Back here, let me step to the flowers, lift you over. The edge of it way back there is mint. So I'm trying to control, because all of this floods, and then all of this floods, and all of this floods. I have another video that my old phone took that I haven't got posted yet, so you'll see that. But even though it does flood like that, it dries out quick. But when it does come, it spreads all of this. So all my mulch gets up in here, under there, all my mulch piles up and it's washing away. So I don't know why I'm walking into my mess. I have a tiny problem here, but to take care of it, I am choosing to send away my compost to Price Organics until I get this cleaned. Then I have to come up with a new plan of how I'm going to take care of it. No? I can't throw balls. Okay, so over here is my little makeshift nursery. I have the apple tree, which is the beautiful green. Leave the bee alone. Tiny fool. So the apple tree, the black lace elderberry, I have 2 pots of, there and there. I'm going to plant one in this corner to mirror his twin over here. And it'll help block neighbor viewage. Like, I don't mind how this looks, but it's getting cut back on her side as well as mine. And it's a honeysuckle. I don't know if it's an invasive honeysuckle or if it's one of our native honeysuckles, but I'm not encouraging it on my side. These guys are pots me and Aiden, or mostly Aiden, planted. He put all of his sycamores in here. The big poof balls they make. We found a couple. He puts them there. I don't remember what this one is, sadly. And then that one is magnolia, way back there. And then I have ginkgo, a grape, which I'm not actually sure survived our winters. He's looking pretty rough with no new growth, and his buddies have growth. Then this was a red bud, and he did not make it. So it was hit or miss. I let the leaves cover them, but I think a lot of it is the squirrels digging. The neighbor's madness. I'm not really sure what that is. That might actually be the hickory tree, but it looks suspect. And then his madness that I keep out of my yard. The maple planted itself, so I potted it up. See my ginkgo? Some of my ginkgo are very happy. I don't know where I'm gonna plant them, but you know, some of my ginkgo are happy. Some of my cuttings of raspberries are not, but that's okay. They're not sold yet. And then this, what is this? This is a red bud. This is red bud. I think this one's dead. Mess. Okay, so the reason I think my grape is dead is because this grape is not. See the leaf? Now these grapes are grown from seed, so not true to type. I guess you would call them a fox grape. And they are from Concord? No, not Concord. What are they? Catawba. So it's a local native grape, but still a fox grape. I don't know what I'm gonna get. Kind of like an apple. If I grow apple from seed, I never know what you're gonna get. Could be a crab apple, could be delicious. And I just noticed a mess back there. The critters, including the four-legged one that lives with us. Anyway, I have comfrey, which I got in trade. Super excited about, because apparently it's like, you know, real good. And then I let the neighbor's coltsfoot grow, because I mean, pretty flowers, right? It's a ground cover. It's acclimated to our environment, and it's pretty. I mean, look at his yard past the fence. There you go. His whole yard is just this beautiful violet carpet right now. I could dig it. I'll let it go. Then my more ditch lilies. I like lilies. I grew up with lots of lilies. My black lace is coming along. Hopefully, well, I probably won't get berries or enough berries to make an elderberry syrup or anything, wine. So I'm gonna do flowers, elderberry flower wines. A rhubarb from the neighbor. Cliffside Permaculture gave me some seeds for perpetual rhubarb, but for some reason, even though they sprouted and grew, I can't keep them alive long enough to do anything. I'm gonna try again, of course, but in the meantime, my neighbor gave me a division. So, yeah, this is him. This is madness. The mild progress of our riverbed. It's getting there. I had grass growing through my black stuff, so I had to kill it. That's done it. Now I gotta clean it up, put more rocks there. Not fun that. Sunchokes sprouting themselves in my horse trough. More lilies. Some sunflower seeds. Ooh, the potatoes. And baby trees. But yeah. My path, it's half buried. But hey, I have to clean that up. There's my raspberries. My dogwood. The onions are here just to be here to protect the strawberries. Irises are for prettiness. Trying to make a little frog home back here with the moss and the stones. because I've noticed frogs past couple of years, so I want to keep encouraging that. Might be my tobacco coming back. This would have been the jasmine tobacco. So it could be that coming up. It could be weeds. We'll see. Nothing's here yet. Lilies. Or no, irises. I don't know why I called that lilies. It's almost blackberry season. A little unruly, but you know, she gives me blackberries. Can't complain too much. We strawberries at her feet. And you notice this? This happy little plant. Ow, I just poked myself. This is a dragon fruit. Now I grow these inside the house from a dragon fruit seed. And I had planned on planting them outside this year and seeing, well, how big is it gonna get, right? They're supposed to be huge, make me fruit. He's a couple years old. So I just went ahead and stuck him out here. He's in there pretty good. He's not the only one. I stuck a couple over there, but I noticed while filming that they're not there anymore. So somebody nommed them, or they froze and died. But if they froze and died, why is he still alive? And firm and happy. Like, not limp. When he gets thirsty, he gets limp. But he's super happy. Cross your fingers. I think that's a raspberry. I'm not sure. It's a weed for me. My lilac. Hiding behind my frame is a grape. Doesn't look too happy. Lily plantain. My camera angles suck. I'm trying to walk, not step in dog droppings. These are walking onions and garlic. So I'm just, you know, they're going to town. This one is, well, I can't say clearly because at this time I don't know, but I mean, it kind of looks like walking onion. I also planted some, what are they called? Flax in here between the two pawpaws, which are nice and pretty. More bloody dog. More flowers from the neighbor, but also Aiden's giant alliums. These are also Aiden's giant alliums, which are coming in amongst the, wow, I'm bad with names today. Sunchokes. It's a bit madness. This post is supposed to hold up their fins, but that'll come back up when these get tall again, and I need them to. Tulips are dying off. Some are just blooming. These guys are waking up, and these are flowering sweet peas. I planted them last spring. They didn't really do much, but then they started coming up late winter, and they've just doubling as they go. Messes. Chives. Beautiful flowers. Will it focus? It won't focus. Beautiful flowers coming out of this massive chai. Don't let them bloom, or if you do, pick them up. They take over. So, yeah, there's that. The Rose of Sharon is waking up. I was always worried. Every year I worry about him. My aronia are in bloom. I love my husband's reaction to the aronia being swarmed by bees and other flying nectar-loving insects. These peonies I may have planted a smidge close. This is where holy basil was last year, and I'll probably plant it here again. Sir, Jojo, no. Ooh, I cut these down just in time. They're starting to come up. I need to rake that clean and get that cleaned. Sage survived. And then this poor buckthorn had a mass die off last year. But he's coming back. He's fighting. I don't know what this is. He started growing himself. He's about to bloom. I have not taken the time to research what he might possibly be, but he's kind of cool, so we left him. Once I do some research and find out what he is, he might have to go. He is also a volunteer. And these guys I hijacked from my mom's house. They were along her roadway in pretty deep shade, but they spread ground covers, so I'm letting them go to town. I did not expect that kind of growth that quickly, but there you have it. And then those guys I planted there intentionally. A little sedum, super soft. They look like they would spike you to death, but that is like little rubbers. And these guys, subtle, very subtle. These guys had a mass dieback, but they're coming back. That is a juniper. This area is where I take apart my wreaths, and they put junipers in my wreaths. So he's from that. My bleeding heart's looking gorgeous as ever. All the crocuses are done, and the feverfew is coming up. And all of that is underneath of the witch hazel, which just finished blooming, and more iris, bearded iris. Then on this sycamore tree, also grown from seed, lily plantain, grape hyacinth. Over here is butterfly grass. This was a ditch lily, but the critters killed it by digging it up. And this I thought was dead. You can see critters digging. But all the woody growth did die. Pretty bad. But he's grown back from the roots. So, and lower growth. So, I didn't kill it. That one's a St. John's wort of some kind. Over here is the vegetables. So yeah, you're not supposed to put allium with asparagus. I did it anyway. I'm slowly moving them out all over there. So once that gets done, that's all gonna be asparagus. I'm gonna plant more asparagus here. Then back to these guys. I have a few spinach. They're not getting big. Volunteer tomatoes, again, helping themselves. My radish. Kale's way back there. I'll get to that, I guess. And my mustard. The mizune and lettuces all died. Nothing to account for. Carrots from last year. They're happy. my peas, early frost, some strawberries. These came from my mother's house, unlike the strawberries by my peach tree, which I grew from seed from a store-bought. These are a cultivar, and they produce some big frickin' strawberries. My store-bought strawberries are like this big. My mom's are like that big. Crazy. But big is the asparagus. I could have harvested them this year, but only like 1 or 2 came up at a time, so I let them go. If I get enough come up at once, I'll harvest it. At least 3 spears. These 2 are purple, I'm pretty sure. You can see a little purple in there, and when they first emerged, like way down here, they were much purpler. Is he putting off a second? He's not putting off a second. These others are a St. Mary's, I think. And then my kales, they're way too close together. That is not how I wanted to plant them, but that's how they grew. Put a few more peas here. I have extra garlic, trees. The onions are coming up, which you would have seen in the last video, but hey, they're bigger. The wee little carrots, little forest. Black radish and beets. So far, this is mostly what I have. I do have some shallots over here, these guys, which were starts. They were already little shallots. And then this one, which is the seed. There's more in here, I'm sure. And then potatoes. You can see some frost damage. Crunchy, crunchy. But you can see new growth. So they started coming up early, but almost not too early. We had frost last night and the night before, I want to say. Which is funny about the tomatoes. They did fine. Yeah. That is the garden. It's vibrant and green right now, thanks to the sun and all the rain we got. I'm gonna have a few more hanging baskets, more filled, less taken apart by squirrels and birdies. I just don't know when I'm planting them yet. Oh yeah, the buckwheat way under here. They kind of seem happy about the shade. I was hoping they would bloom before the tree leafed out, but she leafed pretty quick with her beautiful vibrant leaves. So, our pink and vibrant red buckwheat will show its face later, where I can't enjoy it. And then, in here we have the black goji, the rosemary, the sedum, a lily, some onions, some snapdragons, and the greenhouse, which I'm a little disappointed in. None of these are sprouting. This tells me it wasn't too soon to start them. That means these seeds were not a very good germination rate. And same kind of goes for my jalapeno. Like this one sprouted, but I put 4 per square, you know, to see how many are gonna come up. None of those came up. 1 of those came up. So my germination rate was horrible. And kind of goes the same for him. So I don't know if it was temperature, which they're on a heating mat, monitored heating mat. And then these guys, which came up, like he died. What's that? What's that all about? He's good. Half of him. But he could still live. He has a chance. I don't know about him. And these were the two mystery seeds that I'm pretty sure are my Sea Island Brown. But yeah, usual ups and downs, wins and losses. Don't look up here, that's a mess. Thanks for following me around. I hope you enjoyed. And I've got a lot of fodder for future videos. So hopefully we'll get some in. Hopefully this phone won't crap out on me and all the quality will be good. See you next time.